Studying is an active part of anybody's art journey, or really journey in terms of anything. In order to properly train your art skills, you will need to challenge yourself in various different ways. However, studying can still be a very difficult hill to climb. For me, studying has always been something I've not necessarily really known how to do very effectively, mainly because I've always prioritized trying to do it perfectly rather than doing it at all, which I feel is not necessarily the greatest outlook. However, over the last few weeks, I do think I've made a lot of progress with my studies, and not just with my studies, but also with the way that it has translated into my art. And I feel like a lot of my improvements are due to the fact that I view and approach studying in a different way than I used to, putting a lot more focus on my approach to it and how I actively. While initially for me, practice used to be something I wish also looked good, I just accept that practice is practice. It isn't intended to be looking very nice. It's not made to be perfect. It's made to give yourself reps. When you're training in the gym, you're not going to just immediately start at the weight that you would like to be able to lift. You're going to gradually, progressively move up to that weight, and then eventually when you do get the ability and the capabilities to be able to handle it with your technique, with your muscle mass, then you'll be able to effectively and safely complete the reps that you think you want to be able to do. But you can't just go straight from 0 to 100. That's unrealistic and it's very dangerous. Fortunately, art doesn't really have this danger factor that weightlifting has. But the same concept applies. If you want to be able to do specific types of artwork, specific types of styles, you can't really expect to be immediately at that skill level with minimal practice. Obviously, I never really expected that, but it still always was something that would weigh me down in my own mind. But I always expected that caliber out of myself, no matter how understanding I was of the current skill level I was at. However, just being able to accept that, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, and not just that, but eventually I will be able to get there provided I do the work, has been very helpful in continuing to allow me to practice. Another thing that's really helped me was my ability to put myself in the position of the artist. Now, I'm going to use a music metaphor here just because I also do music, but when you're trying to understand how specific decisions were made, you always have to look at what the outcome is first, and then understand how the decision led to the outcome. For example, I really like the music from Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It's the music that's playing out in the background of this video, but it's also just in general some of my favorite instrumental music from video games ever. One thing though that I really learned as I've been trying to sort of understand and get better at my music production skills is that it's very helpful to just remake the same chords and understand why these different chords give specific different feelings, why a specific chord progression is really helpful to evoke specific feelings, as well as why maybe this decision was made over perhaps a more common chord progression that you might hear in other songs. This also goes hand in hand with another advice of trying to understand why rules were broken. In many of these songs and tracks, rules that are common conventions in music theory, like when you first learn music, for example, like having preset scales, staying within scales, using specific chord progressions, kind of get broken very frequently. For example, in some songs, they'll completely ignore the scale and practically just go incidental to incidental, which is essentially going from one note to the next note with ignoring the scale, going between the notes that aren't included in the scale. Sorry if I didn't explain that correctly. But this happens all the time in a lot of Pokemon music, not just music in this specific game. But being able to understand that maybe breaking the rules is what allowed this artist to get to this feeling is very helpful. But obviously, you wouldn't know that that decision needed to be made provided you weren't also trying to understand it from their perspective. Obviously, I'm not suggesting you just start breaking all the rules immediately. You obviously need a certain preset skill of certain rules that are included in art. But understanding that once you have these rules in your mind, it's very easy to be able to analyze how different artists break those rules to get specific vibes. There are so many different artists who break rules in very different ways, and without the understanding of why the rules exist in the first place, you can't really understand how these rules and breaking these rules will really truly impact how a drawing is perceived. But once you're able to put yourself in their shoes, it's very easy to not only see how it's effective, but even perhaps understand why you may want to make those decisions as well. All of this is context dependent, so you can't just take this information and use it everywhere, right? But as long as you're aware of how you're using this information, how you're taking this information in, it can really help you moving forward. And like the last and most important thing I feel like I really just accepted was that you're never going to be able to practice effectively or efficiently. That doesn't exist. No matter how little or massive your improvements are, practice in any capacity is very helpful. Obviously, if I could have practiced every day and made sure that I was focusing and targeting specific aspects of my art to make sure I'm getting the most gains, it would be amazing. But then you don't leave yourself enough time to draw what you like to draw, or you don't give yourself enough time to give yourself recovery. And it's just not really sustainable to always be practicing efficiently. Even if such efficiency exists, it's really impossible to know. The saying, "the grass is greener on the other side," always interests me a lot because grass is just a weed. So no matter what, you could be mistaking grass on anybody's property for weeds. It couldn't even be grass in the reality of things. It's a lot more effective to just look at what you have and try and make do with what you do have and improve it in ways that you like. Some people don't even like grass. Me personally, I prefer not to deal with it. Either way, if there's one thing you're gonna get from this video is to just make efforts towards what you want. Don't really worry too much about doing it as efficiently as possible, as that's not really a true statement. You don't get better at math by learning the most efficient way to do every problem, because sometimes the best way for you to do a problem, a math equation, is whichever way you're comfortable with, whichever way you best understand the work. There's no point in searching for a perfect way to do everything, because there is no perfect way for everyone. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. I ended up posting this one before the next one because I just felt like this one probably was a better video to post first. I'm trying a new way of recording my audio, so sorry if you hear my chair creaking. I normally cut that out because I recorded in FL Studio before, but that was just becoming a little bit too annoying to deal with, and I feel like maybe, come on, I hate my chair. Maybe just recording straight into the editor will be better. I don't know. I'm figuring things out. I'm also thinking of like maybe uploading shorts on Instagram. It would be just me talking about stuff that I have on my mind. I had the idea a bit ago, but I never started doing it. So there's that. Also, I've been posting on Twitter. I've been posting on Twitter. I only posted twice. I've been making a lot more art, been doing a lot more stuff. I've just been getting rid of like the barriers that I've had. Obviously, I still have a lot of stuff that I feel I could work on. I have a lot of uncertainty in front of me, but like if I don't just try, I'm not really ever gonna get past that. So I'm just gonna keep trying, see where that takes me, and hopefully I'm able to maybe not succeed perfectly, but just do decently. And if I'm able to do decently, I feel like I'll be okay. Anyways, thanks for watching. Do all the stuff, like, comment, subscribe, I guess. dislike if you had anything you didn't like about the video. Please let me know what you guys want for the next video. Obviously, I don't know, I might postpone doing the 2-year thing, because, you know, obviously it's been 2 years since I started drawing, but I don't really know if I want to post that video. I recorded it earlier today and edited it, but I just don't really know if that video needs to be uploaded. Maybe I'll just wait until I feel like it's been a decent amount of time. Like, a lot of my art is already on the channel, though I do feel like eventually I will take down a lot of my older videos, right? I don't want to do that until like I have a reasonable way to watch them, right? Like, the moment I decide to take down those videos, I'll probably have another method for people to watch them. I just don't really think all the videos I had on my channel before, I don't want to watch them and then check what I said in them, things that happened. Not that I did anything bad or did anything I regret. I don't really believe in that way. I just feel like not every variation of the person I was in the past is who I am now. And I used to want to really hold on to that, but like, I feel like at this point it's just better to move on. And I feel like maybe removing some of the older videos I had on the channel would be helpful for that. Obviously I wouldn't remove everything. I'd probably remove a few videos, very specific ones. Not really specific ones. Like, specific ones will stay up. Like, all the videos that are updates I'll probably keep up, sparing a few. And any videos that I do take down in the future will happen after there's a method for people to watch those videos, whether that is if the channel gets, like, I think there's a thing, like, if you have memberships on your channel, you can set certain videos to members only. If I do eventually do that, I'll just put all the videos I delete on members only, so you can still watch them if you really want to. But I just don't think it's necessary to have them up. I just don't want to take them down and then not have them up for anybody, because some people might want to watch them, but I doubt it. Anyways, thanks for watching this far. I know I kind of rambled at the end here. Hopefully you guys are having a great day, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys maybe next week, maybe this week. I don't know when the next video is planned for. Anyways, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.